0547 local time. At 0547 local time, the lead F-35I Adir crosses into Tehran airspace at 28,000 feet, throttles back to military power, and opens its internal weapons bay for the first time that morning. 2 GBU-39 Small Diameter Bombs drop clean off the rack. The bay doors snap shut inside 3 seconds. Radar cross-section back to marble-sized. The Israeli pilot is already banking right toward his second aim point, before the first bomb has finished its glide. Behind him, the sky north of Tehran is full of green. 40-plus friendlies pushing in across 3 vectors. F-15I Ra'ams climbing through 20,000 feet from the west, each one heavy with 8 JDAMs slung under the wings. F-16I Baraks rolling in low and fast on IRGC barracks in the southern suburbs. A pair of Hermes 900 drones orbiting silent at 30,000 feet. Sensor pods passively painting every Iranian ballistic TEL they can find, and pumping the coordinates back across Link 16. Down on Pasteur Street, an IRGC duty officer is still pouring his first cup of tea when the first SDB punches through the roof of the building next door. Here's the thing. This was a decapitation. Every weapon in the air this morning had one job. Put a 2,000-pound bomb through every IRGC command bunker and ballistic missile launcher inside Greater Tehran before any of them could fire a single shahab back at Tel Aviv. Think of it like trying to unplug 100 power strips in a burning building. Except the power strips are shooting at you, and the building is the size of New Jersey. The lead Adir pilot keys his mic exactly once. Push. 5:51 local time iron lead, an Israeli F-16I Barak from the 109th Squadron, descends through 8,000 feet over the Narmak district, with 8 JDAMs on the rails, and a clean track on an IRGC intelligence node 6 kilometers ahead. He rolls inverted, pulls the nose through the horizon, starts his run-in. That's when his radar warning receiver detonates. Phased array lock. 8 kilometers. Iranian fire control track in under 3 seconds. The threat is a Tor-M, one short-range SAM, that the coalition's threat library swore was dead. Satellite imagery had crossed it off the kill list 2 days ago. Here's the thing about the Tor-M1. It's a Russian-built point defense system, vertical launch tubes, slaved to its own search and track radar. Think of it as a guard dog that lives inside its own doghouse, and sleeps with one eye open. 40 meters away, inside the Tor-M1 cabin, an Iranian sergeant named Reza is doing the most important thing he has ever done. 40 hours ago, a coalition GBU cratered his original launcher and killed 2 of his crew. He spent the night driving a replacement vehicle straight into the smoking hole the bomb had left and parked inside it. Now an Israeli F-16 is 8 kilometers off his nose. His radar has a clean lock, and his hand is on the firing key. He turns it. The 9M331 streaks off the rail at 30 Gs. Iron lead has about as long as a deep breath to live through the next 10 seconds. He brakes hard right, flares out. Pure muscle memory. 7 Gs. The kind of pull that turns the world grey at the edges and pops capillaries in the whites of his eyes. Against a radar-guided Tor, flares are about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. What saves the Israeli pilot is geometry. 7 Gs of desperate aspect change, shifting his angle off the seeker, faster than the missile's onboard computer can resolve. The 9M331 streaks past his belly at a closure rate north of 2,000 miles an hour. Death just knocked. Iron lead wasn't home. Iron lead, mud spike, defending. Iron 2 copies. The Magnum off the rail. Iron 2 is already pickling an AGM-88 Harm straight at the emission. Inside the Tor cabin, Reza sees his own radar return go to noise. He has time to understand what that means. He does not have time to do anything about it. On the Israeli targeting pod replay, the launcher simply stops existing. One moment, a thermal bloom. The next, a smear of secondaries, where the reload missiles cooked off in their own tubes. Splash 1 Tor. That was close. Yeah. Leave it out of the debrief. It was brilliant. It worked for exactly 90 seconds. 5:53 local time, 12 kilometers west. An F-35 I call sign Ghost 3 is cruising at 32,000 feet over the Sata Khan district, with its weapons bay closed and its radar completely silent. To anyone watching from the Iranian ground, this jet does not exist. Radar cross-section the size of a marble. Zero emissions. But Ghost 3 is not silent. Ghost 3 is listening. Here's the thing about the F-35's ASQ-239 electronic warfare suite. It's a network of antennas embedded across the entire skin of the jet, passively cataloguing every Iranian radar pulse in the sky around it, without ever transmitting a single watt of its own. Think of it as a bat hunting in a pitch-black cave. The bat doesn't carry a flashlight. It just listens to the echoes and builds a perfect 3D map in its head. For 90 minutes, the Adirs have been quietly building that map. Now they cash it in. In a sandbagged command tent on the eastern edge of Tehran, an IRGC air defense colonel is staring at 12 green dots on his integrated picture and trying to understand why none of them are talking to him anymore. His Tor M1 at Narmak just went dark. 2 of his early warning radars in the western suburbs went dark before that. A Ghost 3's mission system pushes a Link 16 burst across the Israeli formation. 12 emitters, precise grid coordinates on each one. Every Adir gets the same picture at the same instant. Ghost flight, picture clean, cleared hot. Ghost 3, Magnum. A ripple of harms drops off the internal stations of 4 different Adirs simultaneously. Down in the air, defense network. Every screen turns to noise at the same instant. Like trying to read a license plate while someone power washes your windshield with a fire hose. 90 seconds. That's how long it takes the Adirs to surgically dismantle the Iranian air defense network across central Tehran. 12 emitters, 12 thermal blooms, 0 return fire. Now comes the math. Play with the network blind, Ghost 3 pickles a single GBU-39 from 25,000 feet. Only 250 pounds. Now, GPS guided. Sub-meter accuracy. Here's what sub-meter accuracy means in plain English. The pilot is not aiming at a building. He is aiming at a specific window, on a specific floor. The 4th floor window of the IRGC Cooperative Foundation. The financial nerve center that bankrolls Tehran's proxy networks across the Middle East. The SDB punches through the glass at terminal velocity. On the targeting pod feed, the entire 4th floor blooms white on flare for 2 seconds, then collapses inward. 20 years of terror financing, reduced to a heap of broken concrete. Inside his cockpit, Ghost 3 exhales for the first time in 10 minutes. He has a daughter in Haifa who is 6 years old, and he does not let himself think about her right now. He thinks about the next aim point. Good effects? Next. 5:58 local, time 40 kilometers north. An Israeli Hermes 900 drone is orbiting at 28,000 feet, with its sensor pod pointed straight down at a stretch of crowded Tehran arterial road. Think of it as a flying lifeguard tower, with a really, really good pair of binoculars. Its job is to watch, catalogue, and scream when something matters. At 05:58:14, it screams. A sensor operator sitting in a ground station in Tel Aviv watches an underground bunker door slide open in the middle of a residential street. A transporter erector launcher rolls out into the morning light, hauling a Gadir 110 medium-range ballistic missile, already half-erected on the rail. Here's the thing about a Gadir 110 on a TEL. Once that missile goes vertical and the launch crew flips the firing switch, you cannot stop it. There is no Patriot, no arrow, no Thad that hits a ballistic missile reliably in boost phase from standoff range. You stop it on the ground, or you don't stop it. Down on the street. The Iranian launch officer, a major named Hossein, who has rehearsed this drill 400 times, is moving through the umbilical sequence on autopilot. He has 4 minutes from vehicle out to missile away. His checklist tells him everything he needs to do in those 4 minutes. His checklist does not tell him there is a flying lifeguard tower 40 kilometers above his head, reading his license plate. He hooks up the second umbilical. 3 minutes 30. Hermes, 6, to any station. Vampire on the deck, grid whiskey 29er, requesting immediate strike. I repeat, immediate. The closest shooter is Iron 3, an F-16I that just released its last JDAM 12 kilometers south and is climbing out clean. 1 man, 1 stick, and a Gadir 110 that is now 4 minutes from going vertical. Iron 3 copies, breaking now, send coordinates. He throws the F-16 onto its back, pulls the nose through the horizon, and starts punching new coordinates into his MFD with his left hand, while flying the jet inverted with his right. Imagine reprogramming your car's GPS while doing 100 miles an hour through a thunderstorm, except your car is a 1-ton bomb, and the thunderstorm is shooting back. 6 Gs through the pull. His vision tunnels. He holds it. On the street, Hossein finishes the last umbilical. 2 minutes 30. He looks up at the morning sky out of habit and sees nothing, because there is nothing to see. The F-16 is 12 kilometers away, and the GBU-39 has not even left the rail yet. Iron 3, weapon away. Rifle, rifle. A single GBU-39, 2,000 pounds of hardened steel and tritonal, drops off the center line. 43 seconds of free fall. Hossein flips the firing key cover. He has time to think about his wife, in calm. He does not have time to do anything else. The GBU-39 hits the Gadir 110, dead center, on the second stage motor, on the Hermes thermal feed. The entire screen goes white. When the bloom fades, the tail is gone. The missile is gone. A 200-meter circle of street is gone. The burning solid rocket fuel arcing across rooftops in every direction, like the world's most expensive Roman candle. Iron 3, splash 1 barrel. Tel Aviv stays dry tonight. Copy. You owe Hermes 6 a beer. 6:12. Local time across the strike package. Fuel needles touch the red, and the bingo calls start cascading. Ghost flight, bingo, RTB. Iron flight, bingo, RTB. 40 Israeli aircraft pull their noses west in a single coordinated motion and start the long climb out of Iranian airspace toward home. In the sandbagged command tent on the eastern edge of Tehran, the IRGC colonel watches the strike package turn west on his integrated picture. His hand goes back to the field phone. The Bavar 373 in the western mountains. The card he has been holding for 90 minutes. The Israelis are tired, low on fuel. No longer in stealth-optimized profiles for the climb-out. If he is ever going to use it, he uses it now. He picks up the receiver. Sahan sight. Light it up. All emitters. You engage the lead formation. 200 kilometers to the west, in a hardened revetment carved into the Zagros foothills, a Bavar 373 fire control radar that has been silent for 2 years comes alive. The first Israeli aircraft to see it is Ghost 3, climbing through 35,000 feet on a westerly heading. His ASQ-239 lights up like a Christmas tree. New emitter, long range, phased array, Iranian built. Not in any threat library Ghost 3 has ever loaded. He keys his mic exactly once. Ghost flight, new threat, bearing 270. Classification unknown. Standby. Behind him, an E-3 Sentry, orbiting over Jordan, pulls up the morning's BDA feed. The IRGC headquarters compound on Pasteur Street, destroyed. The Ministry of Intelligence, destroyed. Then the Cooperative Foundation, destroyed. The Quds Force Barracks in Yaftabad, destroyed. The Adir 110 TL, destroyed. 12 SAM emitters across central Tehran, destroyed. The Tehran subway is still running. The hospitals are intact. The water treatment plants are intact. The morning passenger flights are taxiing for departure on schedule. 40 jets dropped over 200 precision weapons through the morning sky, over a city of 9 million people. And the only things missing are the buildings the IRGC ran their war out of. That's not luck. That's sub-meter accuracy, applied with discipline. Iron Lead crosses the Iraqi border at 32,000 feet and looks back over his right shoulder. One time. A black wall of smoke rising from a dozen separate columns across Tehran, climbing into the morning sun. Behind it, the city, still standing, still alive. Just minus the men who spent 20 years pointing missiles at his children. 200 kilometers behind him, the Bavar 373 finishes its first track solution and reports ready to fire. Nobody on the frequency said anything for a long moment. Then Ghost 3 keyed his mic exactly once. Tehran's still there. The IRGC isn't. And someone in the mountains just turned on a light we've never seen before. See you next shift.